Ramsey with another episode of Revimpression. Today I have for you a Challenger Scatpack. Going to the Hemi flavor today. I know I'm so used to all the other kind of muscle cars, but I haven't been able to get into a Hemi car, any kind of Mopar, anytime recently. So today we're going to indulge in that a little bit. This car, one of my really good friends, was really cool to let me just switch cars for the day. He has the SS while I have his Scatpack car, and I think this is going to be a pretty interesting review to see, especially me coming from the muscle car world and previously the Shelby. This is going to be quite a different animal, and I really dig what this thing has shown me so far. So let's get into this. Should be fun. What's the first impression you have when you get into a muscle car? In this instance, the first thing I said was, is this exhaust stock? No. I wasn't fooled by that. It is literally coming out of the factory like this. Dodge, thank you for that. Good up on you that you guys are putting in actual exhaust on a muscle car instead of dulling it down and making it sound like every other little DOT approved car there is. So that is my first response specifically to when I started driving the car. Wow, what a sound. The Hemi sounds good, great, and it just wants to go. It just keeps wanting to go. And it never gets tiring hearing the sound. Not that I'm gonna beat on my friend's car, but man, when you wake this thing up, it just, yeah. And whoever's behind me, they know it too. I don't know if you can see them, but they keep laughing. So I think they're enjoying it almost as much as I am. Why wouldn't you? I mean, listen to it. All right, so horsepower. Now a normal Scatpack coming out of the factory, right off the showroom floor, in every form that it comes in, whatever color, whatever package you want. This one comes 485 horsepower. And why would you need anything else? Well, you could argue 1,000 reasons, and I'm probably one of them. But to tell you the truth, I've met a lot of people that have Hellcats that have driven the Scatpack cars with a really good tire package on it, and they said, I don't need anything faster than that, especially since the fact that their Hellcats just do burnouts for a week, and then the Scatpack cars, you can actually get the hook up and go somewhere. So if you put a really good tire on it and you use every bit of the torque, the car can be sometimes faster than a Hellcat. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack from the Hellcat owners saying that, but you guys know it's true. And when you put a big tire on something that has a lot of torque and a lot of horsepower, when you can hook it up, it goes really good instead of having to pedal it for literally a whole block. But good job with the Hemi, guys. The motor sounds great, especially inside. The interior resonance, when I'm not in it, I actually can't even hear the motor whatsoever. But if I get past half throttle, then you get a good kind of a grunt, and it comes out of its slumber. So when you really put the pedal down, it wakes right back up, let you know it's there, let you pass anything or anyone you want. Pretty amazing feeling. So good job, guys. So interior wise, Chrysler hasn't exactly been known for being the best on their interior designs, and it's because they don't have to. Like, you can tell a lot of the same bloodline passed through from when they were coming from the Mercedes-Benz marriage and little things like that. So little things match up, and it's supposed to be a muscle car. It's not supposed to be a hand-sewn Aston Martin. It's supposed to get you as something interesting to get into, retro. Everything is supposed to remind you of something when you get into it. The technology works exactly the way it is, and even the center screen, when I put it in sport mode or put it in super track pack, everything gives me an understanding of not only RPM digitally, but everything for launch control and everything for my shift light and all that kind of cool stuff. So that's a really cool thing to be able to enable when you get into it and want to play with toys like that. Yeah, it makes you be a little irresponsible at times, but I mean, who's not with a fun car like that? You don't buy a car like this because you want to just drive around A to B and not ever get in it. So interior wise, if you're buying a muscle car because specifically the interior, don't buy a muscle car then, because they're not going to be high-end materials. Yes, you get some suede inserts. Yeah, you get some cool stitching, and they're actually very, very supportive and very comfortable because of the weight, because of the suspension sometimes. But it's not a bad thing. I mean, especially since the handling on the car. I mean, yes, this one's lowered a little bit with some springs, but when I drove the stock car too, just steering back and forth, it actually feels connected. You don't feel disconnected from everything it's doing. Granted, I'm not trying to throw it through corners at 60 miles per hour when I should be doing 30, but it still gives you a connection to what the car is doing, and that's something that anybody can appreciate. So if you're buying the car for the interior, I don't know why, but if you're buying it for the rest of the looks on the car, absolutely the right way, because between how comfortable I am with the car, the way that it sounds, the way that the car looks, and the way that it goes, you can't go wrong. So if you're looking at buying a Challenger, I think you're in the right direction. So, final thought on the Challenger Scatpack. It's so much fun, and it goes to show you that when you start thinking about what could be the end of what the horsepower wars could be in, and I mean, you really can't even imagine it happening right now because of how much horsepower is coming out almost on a bi-monthly basis. Everybody's topping each other with something better, something faster, something stronger, something more aggressive, and for some reason everything keeps getting efficient at the same time, which is pretty cool. But with something like this, driving it because the style is really the first thing that you think about when you get into a car like this. When you're looking at a car like this, what attaches you to wanting to buy one of the cars? You don't go out there and go, well, I think I want to do this because this goes from A to B this way. No, you want to go stylish from A to B, and you also apply what you personally want in a muscle car with something like this. If you like the look of the Challenger, I don't blame you. I love the look of the Challenger. I personally have been fighting myself on the fact that why didn't I buy a Hellcat? But then I get into my SS and I realize how much I love the SS. But then I drive the Shelby and I realize how much I love the Shelby. So all these cars do everything their own way, and they do everything their own flavor, and they do it a really, really good way in one way or another. And it's funny enough to say this when I was going through my head, but this car actually makes you go through the regular enthusiast proverb of saying, I know, license and registration. Because this car can get you in a lot of trouble just because of how fun it is and how it sounds. And you never know. Half the time you get pulled over, I mean, if you get pulled over, they probably just want to see it. They probably just want to say, cool car, just slow it down. I understand. But, I mean, you guys need to be responsible anyway. You get it. So, I'd say, if you're looking at getting a Challenger, definitely look at the Scatpack cars before you look into a Hellcat. Because, I mean, the Hellcats are awesome, and I have nothing bad to say about them. And yes, we will have a Hellcat soon on the show. But if you're looking at something where you don't have to pay Hellcat prices and Hellcat horsepower, and you want something that goes really good and sounds amazing and looks just as good, take a look at the Scatpack cars. It'll cost you less money. It gets the cool name to the Scatpack and all the history behind the name, and you'll get something that I think you'll really, really, really enjoy. So, thanks for watching Revimpression. I'll catch you on the next car.